Picture a scorched field in northern France, July 27, 1214. The air is thick with the smell of iron, sweat, and desperation. In the middle of it all stands King Philip II of France, better known as Philip Augustus. He's facing an army that outnumbers his own 3-to-1, a coalition of English, German, and Flemish forces, all with one goal: crush France and wipe Philip from the history books. Here's the incredible part. This battle, which most people have never heard of, would change the destiny of Europe forever. Philip was the ultimate underdog. Victory seemed impossible. He had fewer men, fewer horses, and no way to retreat. The Allied forces, led by Emperor Otto IV and England's King John, held all the advantages. They were sure France would be splintered, and the English royal dynasty would rule both sides of the Channel for centuries. Yet, by the end of that day, the balance of power in Europe shifted, and it shifted permanently. Let's rewind a bit. The early 13th century was a chaotic time. England's king, John, yes, the same one who would later be forced to sign the Magna Carta, was losing the vast territories his father, Henry II, had built. After his brother, Richard the Lionheart, died, John's empire was shaky. To save it, he came up with a bold plan: a two-pronged attack on France. He would invade from the south, while his ally, Emperor Otto, struck from the north. It looked brilliant on paper, but it was a total disaster. John's southern invasion got stuck and was forced to retreat. This left Otto's coalition to face Philip alone near a small town called Bouvines. Philip's scouts brought him terrible news. Tens of thousands of enemy soldiers were marching right for him. He could have run, saved his army for another day, but he didn't. Instead, he turned to his knights and said something history almost forgot. If we retreat now, France will never stand again. Sunday morning, July 27th. The church bells ring as both armies line up on the farmland. It's one of those moments in history where everything seems to stand still, right before the explosion of chaos. Philip's army, maybe 7,000 strong, forms 3 divisions. Otto's coalition, a massive force of around 20,000, stretches across the landscape, looking endless. At noon, the tension breaks. Lances are lowered. The charge begins. The first impact isn't like the movies. It's brutal and terrifying. Armor cracks, horses scream in pain, and dust blinds everyone. The coalition's left flank, mostly Flemish knights, smashes into the French line, and for a heart-stopping moment, it looks like they're winning. Philip's left flank starts to crumble, but this is where real leadership makes a difference. Philip doesn't stay behind his lines. He dives straight into the fight, swinging his sword, his voice rallying his faltering men. And then, disaster almost strikes. A group of Imperial knights spots his banner, charges, and knocks him off his horse. For a few agonizing seconds, the King of France is on the ground, pinned by his own armor, struggling to breathe. His bodyguard, a group of loyal knights, instinctively forms a shield around him. They fight with savage ferocity, manage to pull him to his feet, and get him onto another horse. And what does Philip do? He immediately charges back into the battle. That moment, that near-death experience, completely changes the morale of the fight. Across the battlefield, the French right flank, led by Count Robehouf-Drouot, slams into the enemy's cavalry. It's brutal, hand-to-hand combat. Then comes the legendary moment. Emperor Otto himself rides forward, his imperial banner, golden eagle flying high. He's determined to kill Philip and end the war himself. But the French knights meet his charge head-on. One of them, Guillaume des Barres, grabs Athos' bridle, almost pulling him from his horse. Another knight swings a huge axe, cutting down Odo's guards. The emperor barely escapes with his life, his horse killed from under him. He flees the field, humiliated. The battle descends into pure chaos. Without Odo's leadership, the coalition falls apart. Thousands of Flemish and German soldiers surrender or run. The French banners, blue and gold, rise triumphantly across the dusty field. Philip's army, exhausted and bloodied, slowly realizes the unbelievable they won. By evening, France wasn't just safe, it was on the rise. Philip captured so many high-ranking nobles that the ransom money overflowed his treasury. His power and prestige skyrocketed. When England's King John heard about the devastating defeat, he was thrown into political turmoil. Within a year, his barons rebelled, forcing him to sign the Magna Carta in 1215. That's right. The Battle of Bouvines didn't just save France, it completely reshaped England. Because Philip won, John lost all his credibility. And the seeds of English democracy were planted, all connected by that forgotten field in northern France. So why has this crucial battle faded from our memory? Probably because Hollywood never made an epic movie about it. There are no catchy slogans, no 300-style legends. Bouvines isn't about Spartans or Vikings. It's about complex politics, shifting alliances, and pure, raw Lucteria stuff. That builds nations but doesn't always make for a great movie poster. Yet, historians agree, Bouvines is the most important medieval battle you've probably never heard of. It shattered the dream of a combined English-German empire. It cemented France as a powerful, centralized kingdom. It pushed the Holy Roman Empire into decline, and it set the stage for 600 years of rivalry between France and England, from the 100 Years' War all the way to Napoleon. Now, imagine standing there as dusk falls. The battlefield is quiet, except for the groans of the wounded and the crackle of torches. King Philip II, his armor battered and stained, looks over the scene. He should be dead. Instead, he has just laid the cornerstone of modern France. There's no fanfare, no triumphant trumpets, just dust, silence, and victory. So, the next time someone talks about famous medieval battles, don't just think of Hastings or remember Bouvines, the forgotten clash that decided who would rule Europe. Because sometimes, the most important victories are the ones history forgets. If you're fascinated by uncovering hidden moments like this, where a single day changed the course of centuries, hit that subscribe button. The next story might be even more extraordinary. Thanks for watching.